Dr. Allen.
Thank you. Do I get 2 turns?
You can talk as long as you want, Dr. Allen.
Thank you.
I couldn't see your button. The water thing had covered it up.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's
You know I
okay.
apologize.
I
Yes-
accept your
yes, ma'am.
apology.
Thank you.
First, I want to make sure that I am respectfully talking about the same bills. This bill, as advertised today, says savings account. Is that the same as the voucher bill? I want to make sure that the public knows the difference.
Yeah, well, an education savings account is not a true voucher. It can be used, a voucher typically pays for tuition. Education savings accounts allow for more flexible spending by parents.
Do we have another bill
no.
beside this bill?
No, ma'am, this is
This is
it.
the voucher bill.
This is the ESA bill.
This is the voucher bill. Thank you. We're talking about children when they get into the private school. If they are accepted, then they go through a lottery, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
that's the way that they're prioritized.
Yes, okay.
If there are more applicants than there is
Yeah.
money for.
So if it's a lottery, that does not mean that everybody will be accepted
It will be limited by the appropriation, yes, ma'am.
by the appropriations and so do you think that there is enough private schools out there to absorb all the schools, all the students that may want to attend or can attend, or is it prohibited by the allotment?
I believe there are, from what I understand, 75,000 open slots or seats, if you will, in private schools in Texas, and accredited private schools in Texas. And this bill requires that they be accredited. So that's how many open seats there are. Now, whether or not those will all be filled by children receiving ESAs is an unknown.
Okay. I just want to throw this one in because I want you to know that I support Hinojosa's statement that public schools cannot use their funding for advertisement. We cannot do that.
Yeah. Well, there are billboards on the highway hiring teachers, advertising for
And they may be
teachers.
paid.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I know they have
Yeah.
communications departments and.
Yeah, they
They
may
do
have
marketing.
someone who
Do they do that? I don't know.
donated a billboard or
Yeah.
something,
I
but you
think
can't
the
use.
intent of that is simply to make sure that parents are aware that this program is an option.
Okay, then
That's what the intent. But I'd be happy to
No.
work with anybody on that one.
public schools have lots of options too. Can they now use their funds for advertisement?
They can use their funds as allowed by the Texas Education Code and such, and
They're
I
not.
know they do.
They are not.
They're not marketing.
No, they cannot use their funds for marketing. I was there 39 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a provision in this bill for foster kids?
Yeah, they are included in those that can enroll.
And those that can enroll?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, along with special ed,
Yes, ma'am.
the same allotment for them?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to talk about homeschools. Now, we have a lot of entities who want to take advantage of this bill. You have public school students, you have religious schools, you have private schools, and so everybody is allowed to jump in. So the homeschoolers get an extra $2,000 too.
Yes,
So
and that's all part of the same program. It's still under the same
Yeah,
appropriation.
so that's a lot of kids going out of the public schools, and a lot of kids taking away funds from the private schools. So if one kid walks out of the public schools, just one, every little kid in the school is valued up to, well, his allotment appropriation is, well, as TEA put it, 15,000. That's what is on the 15,000, and that kid walks away. Now he takes that 15,000 up to 30,000. So that's up to 30,000.
Well, a regular ed student would only receive about 10,500
Okay.
when they left.
But when they walk out, that the allotment that they get, the $10,000 to $20,000, that goes with the kid. It doesn't stay in the public schools because he's not now in the
Because
public schools.
it's not public school funded dollars. This is funded outside of the available school fund.
But we get funding based on the number of children we have, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if one kid walks away, that's one less kid we have in the public schools.
Just like it is today, if a child decides not to come to school or they transfer to another school.
Right.
Same thing.
And
They're
if
just
they-
not enrolled. They're not enrolled at the public school
Right, so the
anymore.
public school doesn't get that funding, okay? His funding just walked away with him over to the, whatever school they want to go to. Okay, and if 22, teacher pupil ratio is 22 to 1. So if 22 kids walk away from a school, what else do we lose? We lose the what? The 22 to 1, we lose a teacher, right?
That's not prescribed in this bill. They could.
No,
they
it
could-
doesn't have to be.
Well, they could keep the teacher and make the classes smaller in a public school if they wanted to.
That's not in this bill.
No, but it doesn't, we don't require that, this doesn't do anything to impact what the staffing ratio is at a public school.
But by law now, right now, the staffing ratio in grades K through 3 is 22 to 1.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So when 22 children walk away, we lose a teacher. If 44 kids walk away, we lose 2 teachers. That's a big hit. And I just stopped at 2. That's a big hit for public schools. And when we take a teacher away, we take away funding a teacher. I don't know where the teacher goes, but we also take away money from TRS. Just when a
Well-
teacher leaves.
Well, the fiscal note shows, let me see, on the actuarial impact on House Bill 3 shows no impact on TRS.
No impact? Okay. But when a teacher leaves the profession, does that have an impact?
When a teacher leaves,
The profession, just walks away from school altogether?
I mean, I don't know. According to TRS, it doesn't, this bill doesn't impact that.
Okay, okay. Now, a parent who wants to take their kids to a private school, the teacher and he walks in with a $10,000, not money in his hand, because a lot of people think they're going to have money in the hand.
No money in anybody's hand.
No money in the hand. But when that parent takes it over to the private school, and the tuition, and in my district, I have one private school, and the low tuition is $27,000. And when that kid walks up and with his $10,000 voucher, that is like a $10,000 off of your tuition. So now that parent has to pay $17,000 more to get his kid
In that particular school, but the average private school tuition in Texas is $9,400.
Okay, in private schools, it may be in the Catholic schools.
No,
Which school?
all of them together, if you look at
If-
across the state of Texas.
Across the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but the schools I know in Houston that are private, and I won't call names, but they're up to $40,000 and $50,000. There are some private schools that are,
I believe there are, yes, ma'am.
okay, just the reality of the situation. If the parent walks in and he has to pay the extra fees, do you think low-income parents are going to have that availability?
I would say that parents will make that decision. They will make a decision based on what best fits their family's needs. A decision we all make anytime we make a transaction.
And I want to make sure that this happens, like, is there transportation for those kids to go, if it decides to go to a private school, transportation is provided?
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's an allowable expense under the ESA,
when.
as well as meals at school.
Yeah. In Houston, it's a big city, 640,000 miles wide. All right. We're trying, I want to send my kid over to the arts, the liberal arts school, and I want to send my other kid over to the accelerated school. Are they going to do that for children?
The bill allows for transportation costs. A parent can arrange that.
I just want to make sure. I also heard you say all teachers are, the average teacher makes, and across up to 60-something thousand, up to. The state pays, what, $38 of that 60,000?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Okay. What is what does the teacher pay for? I mean, the state pays for each teacher. What does the state pay?
Well, that salary, we have a minimum salary schedule, but the individual districts set the salaries
I know.
of teachers, so I don't.
That's what I'm
I think the
getting
average
to.
starting at 62,000 a year, maybe something, I don't, it was the chart I saw a few days ago. I've slept since that, I can't remember, but it's about 62,000.
I've seen it, when TEA presented,
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
seen it go up the ladder. But it started at, there's a basic allotment for a teacher's salary, and it's not 62. It's the basic allotment. Districts add to that $38,000 a year. That's what the state pays, $38,000 a year, and districts add to that
Yes.
from taxes, on your property taxes. Okay, so if that be true, and teachers make up to 60, and I heard you say that all teachers the qualification, the average person qualifying for the voucher makes right now, since we're not doing billionaires, that they qualify for, usually they're at the $80,000.
Yeah, there's several income levels in the
Yeah.
bill that it's basically based upon the percentage of the 2025 federal poverty level
Yeah.
schedule. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if it's $80,000 and teachers don't make but 60, up to right now, 60-some thousand.
Yeah, well, it's based, that number of 500% of federal poverty levels and the 200% are based on a family of 4. And
Okay.
it'd be lower if you're a different family structure.
Okay.
We just use that as an example.
Could we then say that teachers may qualify to take their kids to private school automatically
Could-
because of their salary?
Yeah, there'd be many teachers, I believe, that would qualify under this to access an ESA. Yes, ma'am.
Automatically qualify?
Yeah.
Automatically qualify?
Not in the bill, they're not an automatic qualification.
Maybe you want to think about that in view of the fact that we don't pay our teachers enough now. They probably could not qualify for sending their kids to a private school right now under this bill. Okay, one more question. And instead of vouchers to go to a private school, and it's going to wreck public schools, why don't we, again, focus on making our public schools better? Suggestions may be all schools could be better made if we funded them properly. We didn't fund them last year. If we could fund them if we had teachers who would accept a low salary. We could fund them if we would made available to all kids who can go to school, made libraries available, pay teachers. Put programs in the school, make them eligible for all of the fundings that they have. We're not educating kids. We are really tearing up kids, and I see that in the long run, we will not have public schools. They're going out. 100 and some thousand kids left HISD this past year, so that puts the funding, and they're operating at an $800 and some million budget. And so we could do more with our public schools. And so, yes, I don't mind you funding public schools, for private schools, but you need to do something with public schools. And I have one other question that I want to ask,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? No, that's the one if a child goes to a private school, and is he eligible to go back to that school? Is his renewal automatic, like the next year? It's automatic?
Yes.
The way it reads in the bill, it says automatic renewal into the program as long as they are in good standing. What is good standing?
Well, good standing means that there's several things. It means that they've not violated any of the rules around the program in terms of what you can and can't spend money on, things like that. But typically, what it does,
No,
if a child is in,
if the child not spending money.
well, but the parent isn't. So the parent acts on behalf of the child in this.
Okay,
Yes,
oh,
ma'am.
that's what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
If the
Yes.
child has not done something.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
As long as they are in good standing. I'm just concerned about that, in good standing.
Yeah. We don't want them to have to reapply year after year.
Okay. So, with that in mind, and I heard something a few minutes ago about if someone is found incarcerated or in bad standing with a hit in the law, what does that mean?
Well, we have provisions in there, whether you're a tutor or a therapist or somehow someone that is qualified to provide services to a student through an ESA, that there's background check, and we use the same provisions they do in public schools to
Okay.
make sure that our kids are not around people they shouldn't be around.
That's for teachers,
That's
employees,
It's it's therapists. It's
Okay.
everything that's allowable.
not the student.
No, we
That's
don't
not the
do
student.
that no. That's on behalf of the people that would engage with students. in
Because I
different
asked
ways.
that because we have charter schools and, and I've heard several stories about kids who are sent back to their home school because of either their ability not perform well, and when it's test time, we send them back to the public schools so they can be tested on on their test scores will be to the public school.
yeah.
We've heard a lot of that,
I've heard that, yes, ma'am.
and I hope that's not the case in this bill.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll ask questions later.
Okay.
Thank you.